Hey YouTube, Gunham here. Welcome to the finished upper half of the Naglfar class Dreadnought. You can see the lower half over that. This behemoth is finally good to go, as far as the outside is concerned. Shall we give it a little tour? At the very top here you can see the resurrected RWI Valiant. Her bridge still intact. Her hangar's intact, though repaired. Though the forge section was cut off to create a significant amount of gun ports. On top, a triplet tower attaching a newer bridge section with the old one down there, a con unit. That, of course, having a pair of coil guns on it and a significant amount of anti-fighter Vulcan Gatling guns, Bofors, and heavy flak cannons, with the occasional heavy defensive cannons snuck in. On the back, yeah, fighters aren't getting anywhere near this thing. There's a couple Bofors hiding in there, and just Vulcans everywhere across the entire back of this thing. A couple heavier cannons and obviously a massive coil gun. Don't forget the other side. Along with a defensive cannon by the engine bay. A couple guns back here like was wanted by Captain Jack. And a Vulcan tucked in here. Going down a level, we get some more side guns on the side where it says Naglfar with some anti-fighter weapons. And a handful of weapons, which there were going to be more there, but have been left open. On the bottom of the hangar deck, obviously a very large amount of guns down here. Getting to beginning of the rest of the ship. Huge bath of Vulcans. And a huge amount of Vulcans, anti-fighter guns, heavy defensive cannons, flak guns, and a door to access the ship. Above it, though, this is one of the ship's bridges, accessible from the side. The bridge is a little incomplete, but it is vented. On the back, a massive bulkhead containing a ton of Vulcans. Huge empty bay, which, this is literally empty. Except for the giant bank of gyroscopes. And then another group of Vulcans. On the front of this, a few guns and... oh, they've been removed. What? Where'd they go? It was removed. The Atlas super laser's gone. Huh. My apologies. Well, there should be Atlas super lasers in there. I remember that there was some mod that wasn't working quite right, so there should be Atlas super lasers in there. They're gone. That's okay. You can add them in later. I couldn't get them to work anyways. On the bottom, more Vulcans and another supporting bridge that doesn't have its actual seat. Obviously a little incomplete. But I hit the block limit, so... well, not the limit itself. However, this does permit one to do modifications. The door here. And you get to the 4 pods. On the front of the pods, not on the pods themselves, but this middle chunk, a huge gathering of Vulcans and coil guns with defensive cannons. On the front of these pods, a pair of big Berthas with multiple hydrogen and ion engines, and on the top we can see a grouping of dual cannons going back for ways, including aiming to the rear, with a few Vulcans guarding on the side, and on the side here, Bofors. But obviously here's where it gets really good, these triple cannons, which are much bigger than those dual cannons there. This is the main armament that's on turrets. The Berthas and the Atlases is supposed to be the main, but these multiple Vulcans, these ones aren't really going to do much, but they're there just in case. Going back farther, huge gathering of Vulcans, several ion engines, and hydrogen engines. Don't forget those there. Lots of cannon barbettes pointing out. That's not red. Oh well. And a few ion engines here before we get to the back. Multiple Vulcans, many heavy defensive cannons, some small ion engines, and a pair of Titan engines. And this here are, on the bottom bit here, single cannons of the dual cannons up top. Each pod is like that, just mirrored top and bottom pods. The pods are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is a way into here, which is the ship's main bridge. Though it's, again, incomplete. I hit the block limit, so, But this is not supposed to be a complete ship anyways. You have access to a door here with a briefing room on the bottom floor with my character. Hologram once the ship is complete. You can add that in. And a massive empty zone here. This was where the CIC and the captain's ready room were supposed to be. However, there are issues. On the inside of these pods are a few gyroscopes, a few reactors, a couple jump drives. There are hydrogen tanks and cargo containers somewhere. No, there was a cargo. Where are the hydrogen tanks? Oh, here they are. There's a few, and a welder for the big Bertha gun. Accessing to the main, excuse me, to the main shaft here, the main stairwell. Going down, we'll take a look at the back, but after the bridge, heading further down, again the same thing there, we get to this connection point with a swarm of defensive cannons around it and a few flak guns and Vulcans in the back. This is a solid hunk of metal, so difficult to get through. And then we get to the coil guns. A large battery of coil guns with an empty, except for the shaft here, unit. Because, again, it kind of ran out. And you may want to add some personnel rooms or something to this. Don't know. On the front of it, we have a massive collection of Vulcans, Bofors, and flak guns. On the sides, we can see forward-firing Titan engines and side-firing Titan engines, along with, again, a lot of Vulcans, flak cannons, and heavy defensive cannons. On the top, no flak cannons. Bottom, same thing, with this being the cutoff. The rear section here has upwards firing Titan engines to go through that gap, and a massive amount of defensive guns here on this, which is also a solid block, down to a point at least, with on the rear of this chunk being a huge bank of defensive guns and Vulcans again. So fighters are going to have a real nightmare of a time. Before getting to the back here, though, a couple connectors hiding there. On this back chunk, we have, well, the back of the ship, rather, coming down from this section at the top, an upper landing bay, the RWI logo, a few things here, and this does gain access to the inner ship from down there. This is just for quick work for people to come and go to resupply the ship without needing to go to what will be on the bottom of the ship with resupply, or to the upper hangar there. This huge section, which is why there are these guns here, and just in case, as it is huge. I mean, the Valiant can actually probably fit in here on its side. So, this is supposed to be the elevator unit, with multiple cargo pods instead, not in the middle. There is a ladder going up on the sides, and a lower hangar, a few defensive guns, Vulcans and Bofors. Lower points leading to the ladders there. And where'd it go? It's not here. Interesting. I thought there was. Oh, it is. It's down here. Oh, that's the way in. Yeah, you just hop over and go into there, and you can get into the ship. The few external landing pads, some smaller and a couple bigger ones. not by much, but there are no connectors. And, yeah. Now going down, for the connection itself, there will only be a 1-point gap. I'm going to continue this lower section from there down, not above it. This one stops there. You just connect these connectors to, or the merge blocks to there, and then you fill in this middle unit. You just get the gaps plugged, you're good to go. Heavy armor in the front, lighter armor in the back. And that will link the two chunks together. You will need to work on one layer of this, which will be a little fun, but you can do it pretty easily. So, it'll be quite the hassle to get there. As for size, well, I put an antenna back here to aid. From this antenna, which is around the middle, that antenna is 500 above. Where is this located? Right here. Let me slow that down. There we go. This is the antenna there. It's not the upper one. So, So, the Valiant up top there, and all this there. You'll need to re-add the super lasers, the Atlas super lasers. And this, the Naglfar from EVE Online. This thing. Or an idea of it for this. Obviously, it should go more back. You can see the middle connection point here. Should be thicker in the front, not the middle, but that's okay. And then there's the lower bit, which will be smaller, but well, it's supposed to have some ram scoops down here at some point, so we shall see. Obviously, I've done this upper block here, now going to below that, so we'll see what happens. Connectors? Interesting. There should have been guns on this thing, but they're not here. Look at the tiny Soviet Womble survival station there. Then again, most things will be small to this. Now, I don't want this smaller. Somebody said it in a comment. I don't want this thing smaller. I want it as big as this. The reason being, I'm hoping someday Space Engineers updates their game engine so something like this can easily be around. But even if not, that's okay. It could be used as a stationary thing if it has to. Oh, look at that. That is just insane. Not very wide, but that's kind of the point. It's meant to be tall, not wide. And very skinny going that way. It's meant to be a tall ship where everything else is long. Everything else is long and wide. This thing's not wide or long, it's tall. That's the point of the Naglfar, which I really like that about it. It's so unique by doing that. So, at the very... whoa, that was... my bad. I'm not sure if you saw that. The very bottom here, which will not be the bottom, 1.05 kilometers. Though it's not connected, it's not going to be 50 kilometers or 50 meters to connect this. It's about 20 meters to connect it, so, or 10. So this, and especially since that's not going to be the actual bottom, I will put a little bridge unit or something down there. This thing's going to be giant and finally connected. So, the Naglfar. Hopefully Captain Jack and the RWI folks will enjoy. Don't forget to add the super lasers in there. And, well, finish the bridges. Do what you want, but you're kind of near the block limit. Take care. I'll catch you later.